got some people who are gone. Here's what. Our starter had this problem right here. It went 2a squared plus 2a minus 24. And what I told you guys was, if there's a number in front, we want to get rid of it by getting our little vacuum cleaner out. And that's what we did. We took our little vacuum and we vacuumed out this guy and this guy and this guy. The problem tonight is this. I can't vacuum it. I want to vacuum it. I don't like this dumbass 2, but there is no number that will go into 2 and into 5 and into 3. So I have to deal with him tonight. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. When I was a kid, the way we learned to do this is by guess and check. I am not lying. We put parentheses up and we tried different numbers till we figured out the right answer. It was a nightmare. And my first few years teaching, that's how I taught it. And I would be like, oh dear God, it's that lesson. Because kids hated it. They were like, please don't make us do this. Well, then someone, like I was teaching with, saw this weird method, and he called it the Australian method, and I'm like, oh my God, that's genius. Well, now a number of people do it. So I think Tobin teaches it this way. I don't know if Zanoni taught it this way if you had her. I don't know necessarily if the 8th grade teachers. So I'm going to show it to you, and if you, I know you don't have my daughter, she taught it this way. So some of you may have seen this before, yay. Some of you are going to be like, wow, that seems like crazy magic. I don't know how you're making that happen, but it's good and you'll like it. I don't call it the Australian method because that's weird. I call it dun, 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 the rainbow method, and you're going to see why in a second. So this is called the rainbow method, and again, don't write anything, just watch me do it this first time. So here's the problem. The problem in this example is the number 2. So I'm going to have to deal with him. I'm going to have to deal with him 2 times. But once I do, it's really, really easy. So the first thing is, I'm going to do my silly x. But instead of just taking the number 3, I have to deal with that 2. So watch what I'm going to do. Instead of just stealing the 3, I am going to steal these 2 guys together. Right? And see how that looks like? Look, I'll make it look pretty so you can see what I'm talking about. Ooh, do you see what that is? Do you see what I'm making right there? That's right. I made a rainbow. Yeah? See, it's a rainbow. See, I made that up. So, whenever there's a number in the front and we can't make it go away, we have to put the 2 and the 3 together by multiplying. So what that's going to be is not 3 goes up here, but 6 goes up there, right? So everything else is super easy. Watch what we're going to do. Factors of 6 that make 5, just like normal, right? So it works pretty normal. And I'm going to say, what are 2 numbers that multiply to be 6 and add to be 5? That's 2 and 3. I heard that. 2 and 3. Everything is the same. X plus 2, X plus 3. But here's a problem. If I clawed this out, I would not get this answer. So like, see what you did doesn't work, right? So you don't have to do it. I'm just going to show you what would happen if you clawed it out. You'd get x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6, x squared. And again, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you, hey, Miss T, your way sucks. Your way doesn't work. And my answer is you're right, because there is one other additional step that we have to do. And it is called, the Mrs. Tarantino method is called divide and slide. In other words, we have to deal with this dumb, stupid number 2 times. We dealt with him on the rainbow, and now we have to do what I call divide and slide. Some kids told me that, and I love it. Here's what we do. We take that 2, we steal it, and we put it underneath this guy and underneath this guy. That's the divide part. If I can reduce it, I do. 2 goes into 2 1 time. If I can't reduce it, then I slide him right here. 2x plus 3, and that's going to show up on the video. That's so funny. And guess what? If you claw that guy out, it totally works. Sure. It totally works, right? So only thing that's new is we have to add in the rainbow and the divide and slide. Something in the beginning, something at the end. Okay? So now let's do this. Let's do the one on the side, and let's write the steps out. You guys cool with that? Okay, now we pick up our pencils. And kids at home, do this now. Here we go. Okay, using the rainbow method. So the first thing I want to tell you is there is a step that we must do, a first step that I forgot to tell you about in the other one. The first step is this. It's kind of a pre-step, and it is this. Always try to vacuum. Always see if you can vacuum. And you know why? Because if you can vacuum, you get to skip all the rainbow stuff, all the divide and slide stuff. So you want to always take a hot minute, like it's literally 10 seconds, to say, is there a number that I can go into 5, 17, and 6? No. Did you see how long that took? It took 5 seconds. But if I could get rid of that 5 without doing all the rainbowy stuff, that makes my life so easy. So in Algebra 1, we didn't really make you do that, but this is Algebra 2. So take a hot minute, and we'll do that more tomorrow than today. Tonight it's just rainbow. Take a hot minute always and vacuum first. But if you can't, if nothing comes out, then the first thing we're going to do is rainbow. Are you ready? So we're going to do the rainbow. And the rainbow means you take the first guy and the last guy and multiply them together. And if you want to make them beautiful, you totally can, because that makes my life happy. Oh, so pretty. Oh, it's a rainbow. You know what? I have a small life. Don't judge me. So here we go. You do the rainbow. The next thing, I heard that back there, we're going to make our x. You make your x just like normal. 5 times 6, instead of being 6, it's going to be 30. Factors of 30 that make 17. Just like normal. I need 2 numbers, thinking of pretty little thinky heads, 2 numbers that multiply to be 30, but when I add them up, they make negative 17. Any brave people out there? What do you get? You are on fire. Negative 15 and negative 2. So good, so good. What are we going to do after that? We're going to drop it into our parentheses, just like normal. Parenthesis. I don't think I spelled that word wrong. I'm just throwing letters up there because I don't know how to spell. So here's what we got. We got m minus 15 and m minus 2. And man, so many kids on the quiz are going to be like, I'm done. But you've got to remember that last goofy step. Let's see if I can bring this down a tiny, tiny bit. Let's go this guy up here. Our last goofy step. Oh, that was not helpful. Is divide and slide. Okay, so here we go. We're going to divide and slide it. So the number that I got to use is that 5, right? Let's highlight him so we know he's the guy that's been bugging me this whole time. So what we're going to do is divide and slide. We take him, we put him underneath this guy and underneath this guy. If we can reduce, we do. 5 goes into 15 perfectly, so m minus 3. Once it's reduced, if we still have a fraction, we don't like fractions, so we're just going to take this guy and be like, hey dude, come up here. And we're going to say 5m minus 2. How does that feel? Does that feel okay? Yeah? Again, when I was a kid, you just guessed. You just put numbers in different places so you got the right answer. It sucked. Yeah.
We have like
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you can do it by parts too. Yeah. You know, the only way the own method is wrong is if your own method is, I just look at my neighbor. That would be a wrong method, right? So can you do me a favor? The next one, I don't like one of the ones that I put on the worksheet. Can you just turn your paper over or do it on your whiteboard? The whiteboard is totally a great idea too. Could you do this one? I'm not making it up. I stole it from someone. So could you do this one? Could you factor this? 2x squared plus 9x plus 9. Your whiteboard is awesome. That would be an awesome place to do it, so I can see what you're doing. Can you try it on your own? You ready to try this one? So again, real quick, I'm going to see if I can vacuum. Get my little vacuum cleaner out. 2 goes into 2, yay. 2 goes into 9. Then I can't do it. Then I rainbow, do everything normal, divide and slide it through. Love your rainbow, Will. So nice. Bryn's got a great rainbow going on there too. And yes, for Sophie and Sarah, we're asking, your teacher may have taught you a different way. And if your other way is in your brain deeply, go for it. If it's easier for you, that's cool too. Again, as long as it's not, I just looked at my friend, that is the only way that is not okay. Again, I learned how to do it just by guessing shit. It was fun. Yeah. Yes. So, Sophie, Sarah. Huh? Well, because I just glanced and I thought I'm just gonna make sure I got it. Like I have to think for a minute to tell you apart. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Sorry, I'm really. You know what? Don't give away my secrets. You got an answer you like? Did it work? You got something that you worked out? Factors of 18 that add up to be 9, 6, and 3. And then we're going to do a little divide and slide with that too. Yeah. Is this making sense? When you have answers, you like to share it with your neighbor. I need you to do this. I need to got it. I need you to do it. Isaac, you got this, babe? Okay, so here I go. I'm gonna get my rainbow going. 2 to 9. 2 to 9 again. 2 to 9 a third time because I like the rainbow. Factors of 18 that make 9. I saw that Emilio said he had 6 and 3, which was awesome. Everything at this point is normal. Nothing's weird, right? So I'm just going to say x plus 6, x plus 3. Again, very tempting to be done. But I have to remember I have to deal with this 2 times. I've dealt with him once on the rainbow. I have to deal with him now on the divide and slide. If I can reduce it, I do. X plus 3 is awesome. If I can't, I slide it up here. So I'm going to get 2x plus 3. I will tell you one other thing that I noticed on the homework from A period. Some kids did it like this, and some kids got their answer like this, and they said, is this wrong? And my answer is no. It's the difference between 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. But here's what's important. A 2 and a 3 must be in one parenthesis. An x and a 3 must be in another, right? Okay, we're going to circle back. I want you to try this one. We're going to look at this one right here. It's a little bit tricky, and here's why. We're going to have to do a little bit of reducing on the divide and slide part. So I want you to get to the divide and slide and stop there. So go ahead and give that a try, right? We know it's a rainbow because there's no number that goes into 6, 5, and 4, right? I don't have one. So, yeah. Thanks. And here's the notes, and I'm making a video so I'm starting my divide and slide. La, la, la. Ooh, look. Dotted. Ooh, pretty. Because my board does that. It's the coolest thing ever. Yes. Yes. It's not glitchy, it's dotted. Don't judge my thing. Oh. I know, look how weird that is. Okay, so I'm letting you guys, I'm disrupting you. So here we go, we ready? Let's take a look and see where we're at. We're at factors of negative 24 that make negative 5. Two numbers that multiply to 24, but when I subtract them make 5. Anyone brave enough to tell me what they are? And by the way, I graded your test. Did you notice? It's awesome. It's in the grade test. Sorry. And you're on too. Sorry. I graded your major test. Sorry, that was a strange aside there. Who has some numbers for me? Two numbers that make 24, but when I subtract them make 5. You are on fire there. Negative 8 and 3. No, I don't judge me. Negative 8 and 3. That's the only thinking you have to really do. Everything else after that is just following steps. So here's what we got. Y minus 8 and y plus 3. Now here's where this is going to get a little weird on this one. So we're now going to do the divide and slide, and it really should be reduce and slide. but I didn't really call it that because that's not nearly as fancy. So here's what. Before I can do anything, I need to reduce this guy, right? There is a number that goes into 8 and 6, and that number is 2. We're reducing that fraction. So it's 4 over 3, and I'm reducing this fraction to 1 over 2. Then I slide. Then I slide. So it really is reduce and slide, but that doesn't sound as cool as divide and slide. So the final answer, this is tricky, this is as hard as they get. 3y minus 4 and 2y plus 1. That's a little tricky. That's a little challenge, right? Reduce and slide is probably better. Divide and slide is boring. Okay, last one and then I'm shutting up. Give it a try. Give it a try. Everyone's trying this one and I'm being quiet and if you got this, you got this. I'm very impressed with you. Can I see his wiggle fingers if people have seen this method before? Is there some of you that have seen it? No? Really? Really? I kind of feel like some of you saw it online and it was like, yeah, it just kind of didn't stick. Doesn't online school seem like a long time ago? Yeah. Yeah, I tried to do something on Zoom the other day and it was like, wow, I don't really remember how to do this. I know I was so good at it. Or 2 years. Seems like it was forever. And remember, even farther back, when we just had that quarter off? Yeah. And they're like, kind of log in and kind of do something, and then you pass. Like, it was so weird. That was weird. Remember that? It was like, we're leaving. We don't know when they're coming back. Take your stuff. That was amazing. It was kind of crazy. And then we had spring break, and we're like, we'll come back. No, we'll come back. But we just never came back. So weird. They canceled my 8th grade trip. Yeah, it was just the weirdest thing. Like I will never forget being in here. It was in the middle of the second period, where at the end, like they're like, school is over, and it was like, what? And everyone was like, yay! And then they look at me and what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. We just kind of laughed. It's very weird. Very weird. You're doing this when I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm disrupting you. For people at home, I'm done. You don't have to keep listening.